the equities market really did really well. The NGX was one of the top performing stock markets globally. It's ranked 7th in the world, and it's phenomenal to know that the NGX still outperformed despite the economic headwinds in the country. Now, the NGX ASI ended 2023 45.9% up, but we're going to bring in Mukhtar Mohammed, the CEO of Finance with Mukhtar, to give us more insights as to why the market performed so well, and if we're going to see that same trend that same performance in 2024. It's looking like the market, some analysts are telling us to tread with caution, that there will be risk off mode and not risk on, because the economy is not going to be smiling. But Mukhtar, good afternoon. I know today happens to also be your birthday. Happy birthday, first of all, and Happy New Year. Can you just tell us what to expect, why the market performed so well in 2023, and what we should see for some stocks?
Thank you so much, Will, and Happy New Year to you and Ladi there in the studio. Thank you for having me on my birthday. So it's also a pleasure to be on your program. Well, 2023 was a fantastic year for every investors in the equity market. Like my colleague that just finished an interview said, depends on which side you were in the equity market, which stock you were, which risky investment you were. But generally, it was a bullish year for the equity market, and as will that bullishly continue in this new year? Well, it's subject to a lot of factors. One of those factors is a stable exchange rate. Are we going to attract foreign direct investors, portfolio investors? Are they going to come to the market? Is the market overpriced? I think that's where people are saying, oh, the market needs to have to come down. And they think about what happened before, maybe 2008, because most of the stocks are selling at higher like what they were in 2008. But what people have failed to realize is that the companies, in terms of results in 2023, were fantastic results. First, second, and third quarter. And we're still expecting most of these companies will be paying dividends. And the PE ratios are still very, very low. So there's still a lot of opportunity for the upside, especially in the financial stocks. So nothing to worry about, just like the financial advisor said, know your risk appetite. But then I think the stock market was one of the best last year. Beat inflation by almost 15%. If you said, we closed at about 45% higher. And I'm surprised that we are the 7th performing market. I thought we should be the first performing market in the world. Well, we take 7 if we have gone from the worst performing to 7th best performing market in the world. So it's fantastic.
So let's look away from the financial stocks right now. Look at some of the stocks that saw significant gains in 2023. Let's look at Transcorp, for example. Transcorp Hotels saw over 1,000% growth. And if we had invested, from research that had been carried out by the NGX and Nairametrics, so that if you invested 1 million in Nairametrics at the start of January 2020, in Transcorp Hotels, you would have gained 11.2 million naira. And Charms, if you look at Charms, we see that it had over 795% growth. And if you had invested 1 million, you'd have had about 8.2 million naira. Transcorp not letting go there, is also in that league, 666% up, and you'd have had 7.6% growth if you had invested 1 million naira. So Mukhtar, tell us, do you agree with these numbers, and what would you advise investors at this point? Did we lose out, those who didn't invest?
Well, you didn't lose out. Like I said, there are also opportunities in other sectors. I'm looking at these stocks also. When you talk about those numbers, it beats me to see those stocks really did very well. But again, you must look at volume. You must look at liquidity. Most of these stocks that you're talking about, in terms of volume and liquidity, you realize that they weren't really moving that much, exception for Transcorp, not the Transcorp Hotel, Transcorp PLC, that you had volume. In terms of others, you had very low in terms of volume availability for investors. So most investors were not even there. Remember, most of the stocks you are saying about are stocks that have not given investors high return. Any investors you have told at the beginning of the year that this is the stock to buy, they may not have even looked at that place. And again, when you look at some of these stocks, the numbers does not correspond with the prices that they are selling at the moment. So, but in a way, it was a gambling, and it was a good gambling for those that were able to play it at that time. But again, it's still call for cautious if you think that numbers will still go, because there's always a say that we say that at a point in the market, fundamentals will come to play and price will normally come to where they belong. And when the market has a shaking, those that have artificial price movement are actually the ones that really suffer for price depression. So definitely, it was a good one if you have invested there, but all the same, I think you should trade cautiously because you must have invested there and you're not able to sell at when you want to sell. So, but all good and fine. I think it was a good year for those that are invested in those stocks. Going forward, it's going to be a very fantastic 2024 for investors in the equity market. I keep saying it. But you must invest with caution. You must look at your risk appetite. You mustn't even look at the numbers that have gone, or you must look at the fundamentals of the stocks that you want to buy in 2024. But like I say, 2024 is still going to be the year for the financial stocks, especially with what we are expecting from the government in the area of, from CBN in terms of recapitalization of the banks. So you still see the financial sector drive the market. The consumer goods sector will come to play because from the president broadcast today, we might be having, he was promising to pay living wage. And once start paying living wage, remember, Nigeria is a consumer-driven economy, then those sectors will begin to strike all over again. So if you ask me, then again, the oil and gas sector, you must look away from that. We will see some big movement. We are hoping to see this year. We're hoping to see NNPC Nigeria Limited. We're hoping to see Dangote Refinery also comes to the market. That will really dip in the market. And so that sector could be one sector investors should look into.
All right. Oil and gas, Dangote Cement coming on board. Market's going to get an explosion. Thank you so much, Mukhtar Mohammed, Finance with Mukhtar, for sharing your perspective on Business Incorporated.
Thank you for having me, and Happy New Year once again.
Happy birthday once again. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.